Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know you are getting used to the music, but hey. Tonight, we have more important things to do. For example, learn a few tips or some skills that we can engage in our everyday lives. Public speaking. I love public speaking. And I hope that at the end of this session, you are going to take away quite a number of things that you can employ or you can use to enhance your public speaking skills. The beauty about skills is that they're learned, you know. For some, it is natural, but for some, you can actually pick it up and it can become a thing. And yes, thank you very much, Felix Kalo, for being the first person to log in this evening. We appreciate you. And allow me to just jump right on it. My name is Grace Nzula. Grace Nzula is otherwise known as moderator of choice. You are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We are here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. without fail. We are here. Let me just emphasize for those who are joining us for the first time. Please make sure you book a date with us every Tuesday from 8 p.m. And of course, you're free to join our WhatsApp group and you can be able to know what's coming up. You can be able to get the reminders as well. And you can get to understand what we try to do, because I tell you, if you keep it here, your life will never be the same, I promise. And oh God, that I sound like a pastor. But yeah, I'm a pastor's kid, so it's fine. Yeah, so other than that, welcome to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm a HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. If you're looking for people to engage your team in training, or you have a person who is looking for a HR manager outsourced or recruitment services, we offer HR solutions to different organizations and also to individuals. With me is my co-host, Catherine Sidandi. She is our sign language interpreter. I hope, Catherine, you're keeping well. Thank you very much. It's good to see you. Always a pleasure. And of course, my other colleague, Kevin, I don't know where he's at today, but I'm sure he'll join us at some point. And yeah, we are excited and looking forward. So Get It Right with Atara Solutions. I was trying to get a hold of, all right, just fine. Okay. So Get It Right with Atara Solutions is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnerships with a number of organizations. By the way, if you're here and you wish to become a certified human resource professional or practitioner, this is done by HRMPEB. HRMPEB is the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board. They would like to, they're the ones who give exams for CHRP. They are also the ones who approve the training centers as centers for that offer CHRP. So if you're looking to do your CHRP and you're stuck on how to get exemptions, by the way, you actually don't have to go from scratch. HRMPEB gives exemptions. You can actually from the what do we call it? From your degrees, the ones that you've done a degree, you've done a diploma, you've done a master's, even if it's not in HR, you can check. They actually give you up to 49% of exemptions. Yeah, of course, the new curriculum came for some who got almost 100% exemptions before the regulations were changed. But right now, you can actually get up to 49%. They have a new revamped curriculum, which includes HR analytics. So if you have been considering and wondering what you want to do with yourself, then there you go. Please apply for your CHRP, get exempted by HRMPEB, and also get examined by HRMPEB, and then you can become a certified human resource professional. This one is open for anyone who wants to become an HR or is a practicing HR and wants to comply with the HRM Act. Now, again, we also have, so one of our partners is HRMPEB. We also have Balcon Housing. I'm trying to rush because of time. But yes, we have Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. And if you're looking to buy a piece of land, if you're looking to invest in, you have a piece of land and you wish to sell it out, or you're hoping to invest in a property, please get in touch with Balcon Housing. They'll be able to help you with that. We also have Stallion Construction Company Limited. Stallion Construction Company Limited, like the name spells it, we have, they do construction. If you're looking to partition your house or your office, if you're looking to renovate any of your houses or your offices or any building that you may have, change tiles and all that, please get in touch with Stallion Construction Company Limited. And then, of course, we have Pathway Solutions. Pathway Solutions is a HR consulting and training company. They have a lot of training content on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. They have offered our followers quite a lot of free trainings on their LMS. And if you wish to get some more, you can get in touch with us and we'll be able to link you up with Frank Wambare. He's the director at Pathway Service Solutions, and he's going to help you in setting up your account. You can be able to learn at your pace, and then he issues a certificate at the end of the day. So please don't get stuck and wonder, my God, I don't have time to attend trainings. You can actually do them for yourself. And then we have Profiles International. Profiles International are the people who offer certification in emotional intelligence, and theirs is called Genos Emotional Intelligence Practitioner. So if you wish to become a certified emotional intelligence practitioner, then you need to get in touch with Profiles International. They also offer the DISC analysis. This is where you can check your personality. DISC analysis is the one that has the dominance personality, the influencer, etc, etc. So if you like that, then please make sure you register. They have a new class coming up on the 15th of March. Please make sure you join the certification to become an emotional intelligence practitioner. It's one of the best decisions you can ever make for yourself, yeah? And then we obviously have a steadfast, oh God. Oh yeah, we have my friend Zake, my friend Zake, Herbert Zake from Kampala. Thank you very much, Herbert Zake. Thank you for sharing our flyers in Kampala. Thank you for making us, for bringing the whole of Uganda to us. Herbert Zake runs a company called Steadfast Solutions. He offers consultancy in HR and a PR. So if you're looking for a HR consultant or a PR consultant in Kampala, then Herbert Zake will be able to support you on that. And then we have Wicklin. Wicklin is a carpet cleaning and corporate cleaning company. If you're wishing to clean, they have a machine that cleans carpets within 6 minutes. I repeat, a machine that cleans your carpets within 6 minutes. So they pick up your carpet today, they'll be able to bring it back tomorrow because they do 24-hour delivery, and they pick and drop off for free. And yes, you do not have to worry about who's going to lift your furniture as you remove, who's going to bring it back and put it back. They actually do that for you. So please don't get stuck with a dirty carpet. I know the sun is, the rainy season is coming. Please make sure you wash off the dust, and then you can start off afresh. And then we have Suluhu Mediation Center. Suluhu Mediation Center offers certification in mediation. By the way, I'm a certified professional mediator. I did my training with Suluhu Mediation Center, and they have both virtual and physical classes. So please don't get stuck if you wish to become a certified professional mediator. And then, of course, we have El Samea. Oh my God, El Samea is a hotel and a half. If you wish to take a holiday by yourself, by the way, for anyone who came for the women in HR, remember we were told to do a solocation. I did mine in January. It was the most amazing thing I've ever done for myself. But of course, if you want to do vacations, go with your friends. If you want to just go and be alone, then El Samea in Naivasha have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful facilities. And then we have Kapula Mintito. By the way, hey, Simia was in Mombasa. Hey, my good friends, let me show you. I am busy with my buyu. Oh yeah, so you can, I will be eating as I learn how to do public speaking. And then of course we have Purpose. Purpose is have an ERP system that will support you in making your systems better and make sure that you're flowing in your organization. So welcome everyone. Yes, please tell them Zoom has actually, by the way, the cost for Zoom. Oh my God. I don't know how we are going to even sustain this, but yes, We thank you, our partners, because you enable us. Zoom right now, if I told you how much you're paying monthly, you'll wonder how we don't charge participants for these sessions. But we are grateful and we will continue to do it as long as God enables us to. So don't worry about that. We are going to do that. What's the name of the hotel in Naivasha? It's called El Samea. El Samea, you can Google them up, El Samea. And yes, Team Uganda, Nyebosebo, Grace Maino Mejaribu, Herbert will answer you. But yes, it's El Samea, Elsa, E-L-S-A-M-E-R-E, El Samea, El Samea Conservancy. They actually have warthogs feeding, usiku, zebras will come. You can be called from your room to come and see zebras, or if you're having dinner and they show up, you can actually go. It's just an amazing experience. You just should go and see it. And then the lake is just there. You have to walk to do where to go and see the lake. No. It's just there as you take your morning walk. Anyway, right. This evening, we want to speak. We want to get better in public speaking. And Joram, you got it right. I need to slow down. My voice coach, Mr. Michael, he will kill me. Every time I do this, he normally says, Grace, you need to breathe. But I'm like, well, my friend, I am, yes, and I'm sure Joyce will tell us. But with us this evening is Joyce Gikunju, who I love the fact that she's a ghostwriter. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, so does she write about ghosts? No! She'll tell you more about what she does. She runs an academy for public speaking. She has written quite a number of, supported other people tell their stories. And also she has written her own book. So Joyce, tell us, how do we enhance our public speaking skills? And before you come in, hello, our Facebook friends. I hope you're enjoying the session. Welcome. Yes, we are live on Facebook. And yes, karibu sana. Take it away, Joyce.
Thank you. I'm just getting a lot of requests that there are people in the waiting room waiting to be let in. Just check in the waiting room and just to make sure that everybody is in.
We do not have a waiting room. So unless there is network issues.
Okay. Great.
So long as somebody registered, they check their email, they can be able to join.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very excited to be here this evening. I did not imagine that there are people who are awake at this time. Very impressive. At least we put our kids to bed, so now we can focus. Yeah, so maybe that's why these webinars are at this time, so that we can give our ultimate focus to the matter at hand. So this evening, I am excited to be sharing with you some of the things that I do, and they are all solutions, communications solutions. So I just need a thumbs up from Kathleen Sidandi from Atara Solutions. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen that I am sharing. Good, thank you so much. If you can see that, then I guess we can carry on. Sarah Joseph raised hand. Right. Does that mean that you can see the screen or that you can't see the screen?
We can actually see the screen, Joyce.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to carry on, and I'm going to start my presentation today with a survey that we carried out. And when we carried out this survey, we discovered a few things about public speaking. Why would somebody take a public speaking class? You know, we get a lot of inquiries, but why does it happen that some people inquire and actually sign up and some people don't? So the most important thing we found out during this survey is that people came into the class when they discovered what breakthroughs they could expect. And for me, who studied public speaking at the university, people assume that they know public speaking until they come to a situation where it's between them and their next promotion, it's between them and the very thing that they want, maybe to pitch and be excellent at it. So there are three things that came up in the survey. That what happens is that if you can confirm that somebody can eventually deliver a speech with confidence, especially if it's a prepared speech, then they said they would sign in for the class. The other thing that would make people sign up for the class is being able to be stage confident, especially when it was not prepared. The third thing that came up in terms of breakthroughs to expect, it was something called vocal impact. Are you speaking too fast? Are you speaking too slow? Can you be hard? When you speak, when you stand and speak in a room, do people stop talking to listen to you? So these are some of the things that we found out that made people sign up for class. So welcome to Bounce Back presentation this evening. This is a Speaker Academy, and I'm going to be talking about how you can enhance your public speaking skills. So why do people take public speaking classes? Where is the problem? The problem is stage fright. And let me tell you, globally, 54% of adults suffer from stage fright. That some people would rather die than speak in front of people. It is that serious. So when you think about it, it's not a problem that belongs to you and the other person. It's a global problem. It even has a name. It's called glossophobia. And they say that the scariest moment is always just before you start. So when you come to us, one of the things we do is that we take you through what to do moments before you go on stage, moments before you hear your name, moments before, you know, that time when you feel all the jitters and yet you are so confident until you get on stage and then you go blank. That is why people come for stage confidence training. And so we move you from stage frightened to stage confident. And how do we do that? We do that using a 10-step system, and we also give you a workbook. And this is where I tell you my first true story. And I'm not going to use anyone's name here, but there's a story, and it happened last year, that this lady was given a promotion by her boss, but he showed her the letter and said, I am not going to give you this promotion until you work on your public speaking. She came and signed up with us. And you know the 10 modules take 6 weeks, but she did not have 6 weeks to get this promotion. Let me tell you, in the 4th week, she got an international assignment. That's a true story. So we discovered that the people who are very good in public speaking class are the ones who are working towards a goal. And when we talk about goals, what are we saying? Is it just promotions that are goals? Have a look. So one of the things that we discovered is that if you find someone is really talkative, that is somebody who has a book stuck in their head, just like you can see in the diagram here. And one of the ways in which you can unstuck a book is by just getting started and writing the first one. And so we handhold you on this journey to becoming a published author. And I'm sure you're wondering, okay, we have detoured from public speaking to authorship. Where is the link between the two? Stay with me and I'll be with you in a moment to join the dots for you. What if you are in a profession and you're wondering, okay, I don't want to write, I'm not interested in writing, but I really want to get my story out there. So you're a professional and you want to just have that next level conversation. What do you do? Or you're a C-suite executive, you recently retired, and you know you have a lot of information that you can share with the world, something that can be passed on to the next generation. And you know, you realize that speaking on its own is not enough because you're only speaking to the people in the room. For example, right now we have 321 people in the room. What happens when, for example, you're not in the room and yet now we are 322. So what happens if you're not in the room? So this is called a next level conversation because beyond speaking, you want to leave the people in the room holding something that they can know more about you and that they can speak about you and you can continue speaking and impacting the world and most importantly, enhancing your own public speaking skills. I have met a lot of people in my career who are at the top of their game and they had several phones, they could even carry their own handbags, they lived a good life, and then suddenly they've retired and they are just yearning for that conversation with an adult. You know, and so if you look at this diagram, you will see that this is someone who was probably who was employed a long time ago. She has lived a good life. She has retired. And now when she calls her daughters and sons and say, oh, the excuse is always, I've missed the kids, because they're assuming that you're going to drop the kids. And then the driver comes and the nanny comes and the kids come again. No adult conversation there, no intellectual intercourse there. So you're left stuck with children and yet you cannot have a conversation with them. And so you look at these kids and you wonder, how am I ever going to tell them about who I was before I became Nana? And so this is one of the ways in which you can pass on information. You can leave a legacy. You can write a book, and then you can tell these children one day, this is how I became, this is who I am, and this is where I came from. Because when kids meet you when they're old, they always wonder, was she always like this? Just put yourself in the shoes of these little kids. Whenever you see your grandma, you wonder, you don't think that there's a time she was, young like your mom. And so we offer ghostwriting services. And one of the ways in which we offer ghostwriting services is that you get to narrate your story, and the book gets to be your book because it's your voice and your name. And so one of the ways in which we have now, this is the slide now you probably want to hear the most about. And so this is a book that was launched recently by an AG emeritus. And this person, came to us. She wanted to get published, and she did get published. But one of the things that people don't realize is that the moment you publish a book, you get to enhance your public speaking skills because you're the one who is going to talk the most about your book. You get speaking opportunities, you get opportunities in the media, you get to stand in front of the high and mighty, because once you enhance your public speaking skills, it opens doors even to kings. And so you expand your networks, and there's a lot of respect that people have for authors. And this is, again, not just something I have seen, but something I have experienced. And so these are some of the people who have enhanced their public speaking skills by taking that conversation to the next level. Some of them are fellows, some of them are accomplished retirees, some of them are industry experts. And so they've moved their conversation not just from talking, but from talking and having that book that just gives them the edge, and they become an authority in the area in which they're speaking. And so the areas in which we can help you enhance your confidence skills, you can go through an executive level stage confidence mentorship, and you can do that either privately, or you can do that with a group of your friends. And if you decide that you want to move the conversation, not just from speaking, but going in front of people with a book in hand, then we move you to just, not just getting published, but we take you through the whole process without moving you from place to place. So it's a one-step publishing house. How else can you enhance your confidence skills? If people keep coming to you and asking you questions about your area of expertise, you may want to start a podcast for your industry. And that is another way in which you can grow your stage confidence skills, by talking about the frequently asked questions that you normally get. And so this is me. I launched this book in 2019, and I have gone on to grow my tribe. Very excited, and I must tell you that authorship is just, it's just one of the most amazing things that you'll ever do. And if you're in employment, or you're here, you're trying to grow your business, or you're an entrepreneur, or you have just ticked all the boxes that you wanted when you were growing up, your bucket list, you've ticked everything, and you're still not happy, and you're wondering, did they tell me that if I do all these things, it's going to add up? So one of the things that I can tell you is that I struggled between employment and transitioning into entrepreneurship. And that's why I wrote this book called Bouncing Back and Thriving. And one of the things I discovered when I was writing this book is that one of the reasons why I was not happy when I was in employment is because I was not enjoying something we call personal fulfillment. So a book really did, fill that gap for me. So this is just some reflection time that you need to have with yourself. Ask yourself, you have everything going for you, but you're not happy. Could it be that one thing that you're looking for? Could it be that those journals that you put together could actually make a book that can move that conversation of yours from not just professional development, but also personal fulfillment? If you want to hear or know more about us, you can find testimonials of our work on the World Wide Web. And that's our website address. It's bouncebackpod.co.ke. And in the pod, in the website, you will also find podcasts. I have interviewed people, and you will hear some really inspirational stories on the pod. And so we come to the most important part of this conversation this evening. Thank you for staying on. I can see we have over 340 people. The most exciting part of this conversation is Q&A. Over to you and back to you, my co-host, Nzula Grace. Thank you. Good evening.
So what are some of the tips you can share on how we get better at public speaking? Maybe you can give us like 5.
So the most important thing is to keep at it. So for example, and that's why I gave examples of the podcast. if people keep asking you questions, instead of just answering that question every time, why don't you host a podcast? Why don't you host a podcast, or why don't you write a blog? Because somewhere along the way, you will need to speak about that. Another way in which you can enhance the public speaking, writing. There's something about writing that makes you a better speaker. And like I said earlier, when you become an author, there's just a whole new level of respect. And I can't explain it, but there's just a whole new level of respect. And so what happens is that you get invited all the time to speak to people. You're also invited on national TV. And so what you do is that when you're called, just go. And then the other thing is that you can do something we call your mirror work. This is really awkward because a lot of people don't understand what that is, but it's a really simple thing that you do every evening before you go to bed, or you wake up first thing in the morning. Stand in front of the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. I know it's awkward, but it has produced some of the best results, because then you get to see how people are seeing you. And this is something that's good to do. This is something that's good to do. And like I said, in the beginning, it's awkward, but with time, it gets better, because the most important thing is you're studying your own body language. The other thing that you need to do is that you need to remember that a lot of people don't know this, but I'll tell you that public speaking is not just about the things that you say. Public speaking is also about your visual impact. How do you look? How do you show up? That's really important. And another thing is your body language. That is, takes the hugest chunk. So before you step out of the house, always ask yourself, do you look good? Are you feeling good? And that is half the job done. They say it sounds cliche, but it's a fact. Yeah, so I hope I'm giving you tips, useful things. The other thing that you can do before you leave the house again is test yourself, like stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, am I loud enough? Can I be heard? And let me tell you a story with this one, because again, people assume that because people make a lot of assumptions. So why I'm telling you this story is because there's a time there was a Rotary in my neighborhood and they invited a parliamentarian to come and speak. I think he didn't expect that on a Tuesday evening, the room would be full, but the room was full all the way to the back. And I was standing right at the back. We couldn't hear him. So because we couldn't hear him, because you see in parliament, they have a mic. But if you practice in front of the mirror without a mic, even the day you go to an event and there's no mic, you will be able to have your vocals and your vocal energy up. So I hope that was useful. And the last one, water. Someone noticed about my cup. I have a tin cup. And every time I'm speaking in front of people, and again, if you look at conferences, you wonder, why do they always have water over there? There's something about water. We teach more of that in our class, but never stand in front of people or speak in front of people for more than 5 minutes if you're not watering your vocal cords. Thank you.
So the other day we had at the conference and we had one of the speakers who is also a public speaker who was sipping water and making sure that the sign language interpreter was also sipping water. It was quite interesting because we normally actually forget that they are with us, but that's quite nice. Now, I'm a Toastmaster, and one of the things that we are told to do is make sure that you're standing during your presentation. I know part of it is anxiety, but tell us, Joyce, how do we deal with anxiety?
That's a very good question. The truth is there are two ways to handle this. Is it a prepared speech or an unprepared speech? If it's prepared, you're lucky because you have time to do your mirror work. If it is not prepared, again, never underestimate the power of water. I have never failed an interview. I used to go with a bottle of ice cold water. And one time directors asked me, why are you so confident? And I pointed at the water and they asked me, does it work? And I said, it has always worked for me. I got the job every time. But remember, I carried water with me throughout. There's something about the temperature, cold water going down that just gives your body that signal, calm down. So as the water is going down and the water is cool, your body is getting the signal, calm down. If you do not have water near you, the other tip you could do, and this again we do all the time, is I need you to put your hand on your tummy, yeah, and actually breathe in and feel your tummy moving like. You need to do it. You actually need to do it, and you feel like when you breathe in, breathe out, your whole body has been sent the signal, calm down. So if you don't have water, use your breathing exercise. The other thing you could do, because the thing that messes up the most is our head, like the conversation in your head. People are looking at me, this and that. Can you tell yourself everything is going to be okay? So those are really amazing tips, but they somehow have a way of just, taking away the anxiety. And I've given the example of in case you're not prepared. If you're prepared, there's so many other ways that you can do it, because the way we do it is that we take you on what to do 24 hours to the event, 10 hours to the event, 2 hours to the event, 2 minutes. When you get on stage, what happens when you find that after all that work, you're still, so there's also what you do when you stand in front of people, just, but if you find that you don't have time for all that and you just heard Joyce, lead us in prayer. Breathe in, breathe out, and then you just stand and just do it.
All right. You hear, you guys, all of you. We had interviews today, and in fact, we had to tell somebody, please breathe in, breathe out, relax. So public speaking, how to deal with the anxiety you've had, take water, breathing, remember your breathing exercises. If it's prepared, make sure you go prepared. But now talk up to us about impromptu speeches, or just, the way I keep saying, sometimes we are asked, you remember in na ilikuwa siku ya harambe, I don't know whether you guys did that composition, or was it insha? Na ilikuwa siku ya harambe, mipango yote ilikuwa imekamilika, endeleza insha hii. For our Ugandan and our non-Kenyan, or not non-Kenyans, the people who don't understand Swahili, because I believe some of us do, we are saying, you remember those compositions that had a beginning, like it was the happiest day of my life. Complete this composition. There's something like that that used to come. And we get that a lot. So when you're told, Joyce, come and talk to us about the next event, or come and talk to us about speaking, like impromptu speeches or impromptu conversations. What are some of the quick things we can do to come up? Because sometimes the brain freezes. How do we unfreeze our brains?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And those kind of speeches are called extempore. Extempore meaning extemporaneous. There was no plan, there was nothing. And a lot of people freeze. And I know a lot of times when when you're asked to go in front of people and asked to pray, some people are even unable to stand from their seat. The thing that's messing you up the most is the conversation in your head. So you become your worst enemy. And so the thing about getting to that next level is having a conversation with yourself called positive self-talk. What are you telling yourself? What kind of a conversation are you having? And then, so that is the most important thing. It's called, and also something else we call reframing. Like when you look around, are you feeling the pressure because maybe you don't know the people or you know the people, or are you imagining that it's your friends who are in front of you and they're just people who are on your side? Again, it's the conversation in your head. So these are some of the tips in which you can use to remember that people are not against you, people are on your side. So telling yourself that it's going to be okay. You'll be surprised that when you have this conversation with yourself, it's your body you are telling everything is okay. And the most important thing is that you need to get your body to cooperate, because like I said, 90% is in the body language. People are too worried. People are normally too worried about what they are going to say. What people don't realize is that vocal impact, verbal impact is only at 7%. We have already judged you 55% of the way how you look. We've already judged you 38% of the way how you're going to speak. So you might as well just get up, show up, look good. And that's how I always say, when you're stepping out of your house, can you just look amazing? Just think of yourself growing up. When you wore your Sunday best, didn't you feel like that extra confidence? Even in public speaking, it's the same thing. Always make sure you come out looking great. It's half the job done. Yeah.
All right. And then Nelson is asking, is public speaking the same as storytelling?
No, it's not. But public speaking helps you become an excellent storyteller. It's just like asking, is there a difference between presentation skills and public speaking? Yeah, one aids, public speaking aids in storytelling and presentation.
You know, I was laughing the other day. I don't know that you've seen that meme, that the English in the head was making sense. But when it started coming out of your mouth,
Yeah.
yeah, the story changes. Yeah. So, hi, Joyce. About public speaking in a political forum, Lisa, can you may need to finish that that question so that we can be able to get it correctly. Now, I remember when I was doing my TOT, our lecturer used to tell us that whatever you do with your hands should
Yes.
be in line with the presentation you're making. Please talk to us about where our hands are supposed to stay with us. Are they supposed to be drumming? Are they supposed to be on our heads? You know, those ones of, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
you talk to us about the hands and then we'll go to tone of variation.
Yeah, I love that question always, because you'll be surprised how many parents call me during the holidays to say, I want you to come and train my daughter because you need to tell her where to put her hands. That conversation is very serious. I actually get that conversation. Like, I know she's good, but you need to come and show her where to put her hands. So I love that question, because what people don't realize is that your hands can either work in favor of what you're saying or work against it. And guess what people are going to believe? People are going to believe your gestures over and above what you're going to say. Why? Because like I said, people believe what they see more than what you say. And so one of the things that you should do is that it depends on what your topic is. So for example, if you're talking about your eyes, you can point at your eyes, yeah? But if you're not pointing at anything on you, remember to put your hands clear of the front of you. What do I mean? Keep your body language open. Don't point. Don't shake your hands. Don't fidget. Don't put them behind you. Because you want people to trust you. Because the thing about public speaking is that you want people to trust you. And so remember to always have your hands open. We call it open body language. So for example, you can see my hands. Always keep your hands clear of your face, clear of your body, and keep them open. And every time you're emphasizing a point, use your hands. Yeah. And just to complete that conversation about the political forum, if there's someone I can comment about, I know we're a mixed, it's people from different countries, but I love that we can now Google anyone I say. And recently there's someone who was in a political, well, not a political forum, but there's somebody who's a politician and he was speaking. And I'm telling you, that guy, he ticked all my boxes for excellent public speaking. Yeah, he's called Honorable Opondo. Honorable Opondo was weighing in on the LGBTQ conversation. What I loved about him is that it's a very emotive conversation, but he was the most calm. Look at how he uses his hands during that conversation. And it's a press conference. That will give you amazing ideas on where your hands are supposed to be at any one time. Yeah, so I'm just giving you an idea. And also the other thing that you need to remember is think of your favorite public speakers and start observing their hands. You will see that they all keep an open body language. Thank you.
All right, interesting. Okay, so Martin Ocholi is actually a voice coach. He runs a company called Vods. He's awesome, and he's saying, how cold should the water be?
Yeah, that's a good question. So how nervous are you? How nervous are you, you see? And how hot is the day outside? Those are the questions you should ask yourself. But I always say at the end of the day, if there's something that you're going to do to win out in this life, it's something called self-awareness. I'll tell you hot, I'll tell you cold, I'll tell you warm. Know yourself, see what works for you over time. You'll never go wrong with that. Yeah.
Okay, and then John is saying, is there a special message the speaker wanted to convey by her choice of the drinking cup?
This tin cup just gets me a lot of engagement, side chats. I have just come to love having this cup. Was there a message? I think it has a lot of childhood memories for me. And yeah, I can never go wrong. For example, if I want to heat water, I heat it and I don't need to change cups. I just use the same cup. I find this cup extremely convenient. And so I get a lot of people who I meet even in person and they tell me, Joyce, you and the tin cup. So you see, opening up conversations, people find it easy to engage and talk with me because of starting with that conversation of the tin cup. And I like that because I like to be approachable. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Mine, can I explain mine? It is the Atara Solutions. It is branded. It was branded by A+. If you want yours branded, we can get that done for you. It was done by A+. It's beautiful. It has the Atara Solutions and also Get It Right, because you're tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Right. Let me go back to the business of the day and stop explaining cups. Yes, talk to us about props. I think when he asked that, I asked the question on props came. Talk to us about props, because sometimes we want to use a pen, sometimes we want to use, I don't know, different things. Talk to us about props.
Yeah, I love that question also, because and I love that you said you're a Toastmaster. And one of the things that I do is that I actually encourage people to go into Toastmaster after the class is finished. Why? Because you're going to practice for full knowledge of the right way to do it. And so why I have brought up Toastmaster here is because I also like looking at Toastmaster competitions. And there's a time I saw a Toastmaster competition and there was this guy who went on stage. He was of Arab descent. He walked on stage and he was starting to light a cigarette. I'm telling you, the level of engagement in that room was just at an all-time high. What am I saying? When you go on stage with a physical object, you keep your audience engaged, especially if the object is related to the conversation that you're talking about. So in this case, the guy who won that Toastmaster competition that year was the one who went with the cigarette and he started lighting it on stage. And then of course he didn't light it, but he looked at everybody, he made funny faces. He won that competition. Why? Because you see, he knows something about the first 3 minutes and how you should use your props to keep your audience engaged for the entire 3 minutes. And if you can get your audience for the first 3 minutes, you can get them for the entire part of the talk. And so his conversation that day was about how many people cigarettes kill per year. He won that competition. What did he do? He got our attention fully by going on stage with a cigarette and lighting it. So go for it.
Okay, but of course it has, one has to be intentional with their props, yeah?
Very.
At times, some people shrub, even though they are good public speakers. What should be done to avoid?
So that's mother tongue interference. And I always say that one is neither here nor there. Be ever so confident that people will just overlook the RRLs and the whatever. Remember, it's the confidence, and focusing, just remaining really tightly focused on your message. Yeah. So for me, that one is neither here nor there. I have met people who shrub really, but they are so passionate about what they're talking about. We even forget that they have mother tongue interference. Yeah.
And I think you answered that correctly. And I think sometimes it's also acceptance. And once you accept that you have this mother tongue interference and there's really nothing you can do about it, you also joke around about it. Sometimes you start a conversation and you're like, in French, we say play instead of pray. But what I mean right now is this one, it also helps you get the audience actually use it as humor, because humor is part of public speaking. Use it as humor and it will help you and your audience. So first thing is to accept that you have mother tongue interference. And then from there, you can actually use it to enhance your speech instead of to mess you up. I hope that is helpful. How do you handle public speaking when making PowerPoint presentations? How much is too long? Oh my God, this question, Susan should be here, but yes, Joyce, there's a friend of mine who calls it death by PowerPoint, including Martin, but yes.
Yeah, I love that question also because what's the name? This guy, what's his name? He was the owner of this phone company, not the Android company, the other company, the guy who died. What was his name?
iPhone.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
There's a time Steve Jobs said, no more PowerPoint presentations. There's a time he had frozen them in the company. Like you said, death by PowerPoint. There's a time he had decided if you're doing a presentation, do it without a PowerPoint. Why? Because of that thing of how much is too much. Yeah. So as a rule, if you can keep to 10 slides, as a rule, you can keep to 10 slides. Yeah. And then the thing about public speaking during a PowerPoint presentation, the problem with that is that you find people focus so much on the PowerPoint presentation, they even have their back at some point towards the audience. Again, wrong, wrong, wrong. And that is why I was saying people are avoiding PowerPoint presentations, because people focus more on the presentation than on giving an excellent, pitch, or, you forget what the point was with the whole PowerPoint presentation. Do you want people to raise their sales? Do you want people to increase their targets? Just not being very clear about what your call to action is. So I always say, if you can squeeze it down to 10 slides and just being very on point, on point, on point. If you can't, then don't do PowerPoints.
Yeah. Sometimes this is the part where Syria, I know you'll kill us for not cramming our speeches. Anyway, we are not dealing with that today. But I like this question by John Miner. He's saying, there's a habit while addressing audience, you find yourself closing and opening eyes many times without your notice. What's your take on this?
Yes, and this is the thing that I was saying, that sometimes I send my students and I tell them, I want you to send me a video of your mirror work, and they just never send it. Why? Because people don't understand the connection between having that conversation between you and yourself and recording yourself like a video recording of you speaking in front of the mirror, because you will never be able to catch some of these things until you record yourself. I remember, again, I gave you an example of somebody who was going abroad, and I needed that video. I wanted a video of how she looks when she's having that conversation in front of the mirror. And she said, I'll ask my son to do it. And I'm telling you, they sent it over to me. Those are some of the things that we pick up. Are you blinking too much? Are you, is your body language correct or is it wrong? You can never catch some of these things until you get into that awkward position. I call it awkward because the first 2-3 times are hard. You will not last 60 seconds. But I'm telling you, that is where your growth will begin.
Yeah. Now, before we allow you to speak, Jacinta, allow me to ask, what about tone variation?
I love that question.
About tone variation. Yeah.
I love that question also, because when we're talking about vocal impact, one of the things that we do and focus a lot on, because we're talking about executive level stage confidence, is that we make sure you learn how to use your voice to speak like, can I say, the boss or a leader? We call it high status voice. You learn to use your voice so that you speak like a leader. And that's why I was giving you the example of Opondo, the MP, is it called George Opondo, the one who was talking about a very emotive subject, but his voice was so high status, you would not have had any doubt in your mind that is very clear what he's saying. He used what we call high status voice. He knew how to work his pitch, his rhythm, his tone, and he was very calm, even if he was talking about something that was completely in his Catholic mind absurd, like black is black and white is white, but he was doing it in such his voice and his tone was so accurate, and that is what public speaking is. When you go through a public speaking class, you learn and you practice what we call high status, how to use your voice to be high status. Thank you.
All right, and there's another question. And it's good to see you, Rob Lingoje. Rob Lee, it's good to see you there. Okay, when you're making presentations, how do you stop yourself from oversharing? By the way, somebody told me last week that women, we tend to say I a lot in our conversations compared to men, and apparently it's also boring. So please tell us, how do you stop yourself from sharing too much? Boundaries.
I love that question also. And I did a presentation at church recently on a Sunday, and the preacher asked me later, are you a lawyer? Because the thing about knowing where your weakness is that you fix it. Yeah. And so if, for example, you've done a presentation today and you're given feedback, take it positively. I wasn't always like that. There's a time I was told it's not about you. especially when my book came out, I was told it is not about, yes, the book is in your name, but it's not about you. That was a wake-up call for me. And so it helps you to focus on the audience and not on yourself. Yeah. So being very, taking feedback positively, especially if it's coming from, like professional sources, it will help you work your presentation and take the attention away from you, but you focus it towards the crowd. And I think that's really connected to a question I think I saw, but I'll wait for you to ask that question, and Grace.
Okay, I hope we got it. But there are quite, I think, 3 questions on audience engagement. There's somebody who asked, how do you engage your audience? There's Sabina who is saying, does a dozing audience necessarily talk about the speaker, or it could be a problem with the audience? How can a speaker overcome this? I think that's on engagement. And then what happens when you're speaking in a group and unfortunately the rest of the panelists say all the points you had lined up to say? How do you come out of this and save your face? That's from Beverly Magoha.
Yeah. I love that last question again, because it's true story, it happens. And so in public speaking, there's something we call piggyback. When you go on stage, you piggyback on one of the people whose point was closest to yours. And you can begin by saying, oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I would like to emphasize or reiterate what Grace has said, because you piggyback on that conversation, but you can take a different trajectory of the same conversation without repeating what they said. So in public speaking, there is something called piggyback, because yes, it can happen that the person who's right in front of you will actually say your points, but remember, you're a different person, you have different energy, bring it on. Yes, bring it on. The other one was about audience engagement. If you see a dozing crowd, that's feedback, honey. And let me tell you, there's a study that was done by, what's the name of that study? There's a study that was done. And in that study, a lot of people will look at phones, a lot of people will doze off. That is feedback. And I think it was called the Ponzi study. And in that feedback, they were saying that because of that, you have to know how to re-engage the audience. And one of the most powerful ways in which you can re-engage an audience is something my primary school teacher taught me. I remember she was, we didn't even know America existed when we were in primary school. And she was a most amazing teacher, but one afternoon, she just couldn't engage us anymore. And when she looked around, and she was this really nice motherly type, and she saw we were dozing, she said, let me tell you a story. When my husband and I went to America, my God, I'm telling you, the whole class woke up. Stories, stories, stories. Wake them up with stories. I am telling you, if there's something that re-engages people, it's stories. Another way you can re-engage the audience, the pause. You just keep quiet for a few seconds, and I'm telling you, people will wonder what's going on. Those are some of the strategies in which you can re-engage people. Yeah. And something else we call the high status shock trick. You are talking at this volume, and then you say, hey guys, can you hear me right all the way to the back? I'm telling you, that one will just wake everybody who was sleeping. So there are many re-engagement and audience engagement tips. And yes, like Fanny Somondi is saying, energizers. If you're an energetic kind of person, yes, you can use those energizers. Like, you guys, stand up. What wanna go mashamba? Can we stand up and stretch a little bit? Can we do the jumping jacks? All those are good things, but remember, you have to know your audience. You have to study your audience. You have to read the energy in the room. You cannot tell CEOs to do jumping jacks, unless it's a team building out of town and people are in tracksuits. Read the room and get it right. Again, these things come with time. Yeah.
Yes, Grace. Yes, go ahead.
We have a question from Facebook. With the coming in of Zoom and these online engagement sessions, we have Eda Samae who is asking, how do you make a conference call more lively?
Yeah, I love that question also. I love that question because the thing about Zoom, and there's even a book that was written during COVID about that. With Zoom, you have to balance it out. Like now you see, let me do something. You see, now I'm not on video anymore. Taking that short break away from the video is one of the ways in which a doctor, I forget his name, but he's an American PhD student and he's a PhD lecturer. And he said that one of the ways in which you can disengage and re-engage with with all these conference calls and everything is to take a break away from the screen. You just take a few minutes out and then come back. People are allowed to do that for a minute or two. And I recommend it because I'm already feeling refreshed, just having my video off for these few minutes. Yeah. So that's another way of re-engaging. Yeah. I hope someone felt the impact of that.
I hope so. Now, Ivy Boari is saying, how do I avoid reading verbatim while reading from slides?
Oh, that's, by the way, it's wrong. It just shows you didn't prepare. You did not prepare. And the thing about slides, I always tell people, just have a word or two that will remind you what the conversation is. And that's why we were saying, there's a reason why Steve Jobs said, no more slides. Why are you reading verbatim? The slides are supposed to guide a conversation, and you're supposed to have eye contact with your audience. So the thing about presentations is that you're supposed to prepare. There is no excuse for that.
And then I saw somebody asked my other question, the joiners, the 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 actually. Oh, yeah, you know who uses that a lot, Kevin. But yeah.
Again, yeah. So again, you're a Toastmaster and you know people lose marks on the joiners, the and the ahs. It just shows that you are not prepared. Yeah, especially if it was a prepared speech. Yeah.
Somebody is saying, what about a staccato problem? What is a staccato problem?
Staccato, maybe they can elaborate. I don't want to answer what I think they're talking about, because I also saw someone asking about what is the other word I saw? Stammering. So maybe the person can elaborate and then we can carry on.
Okay, there's Kevin Nando is saying, how do you tackle a confrontation from a more knowledgeable person in an audience? By the way, this has happened to me several years, especially when you're dealing with PhD students and you're teaching them ethics. There's one who picked on my definition of ethics, where we spent about 5 minutes trying to figure out who is right and who is wrong. But of course, it's adult learning. There's never a right answer, it's your defense. But yes, talk to us about the confrontation.
Yes, and it has also happened to me. When my book first came out, I went and did a talk in front of people, like you said, who are usually more knowledgeable than you, and they can really be on you. And he went on and on and on for the next 10 minutes. And you know, when it comes to that, now you're the one standing in front of the audience. Imagine you have to be the bigger person here, let them win, because you're standing in front of the audience. Now, if you do not let them win, they will take over your conversation. They will just win the rest of your presentation. So I just let him, I just let him win, because I thought, you know what, this is my book, I wrote it, I know who the audience was, it was not you. But you cannot have a conversation where now the person has, this person took over my presentation. I think we know Rotary, you get what, 20, 30 minutes. He took over like 10, 15 minutes of that. And I just let him talk, and it was really awkward for me. It was my first experience with that. And I realized that if I didn't let him win, we would not have had the end of that conversation. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then there's a question. Okay. So hang in there. Kevin, check whether there's something on WhatsApp. I mean, on YouTube, or rather, gosh, Facebook. Jacinta Kisungi, you're on.
A question I wanted to ask, if the audience asks you a question and maybe you don't know how to the answer of the question, how do you work around it?
Yeah, that's another question I love. And why I say, when you hear me saying I love a question, it is part of the curriculum that we handle. It's called, how do you handle difficult questions? So there are many ways to handle difficult questions. And one of the ways in which you handle difficult questions is that you can actually say, I don't know, but you don't have to use the words, I don't know. You can say, I will get back to you with that when I have more information. There are so many ways to take things to the parking lot. But, and why I'm saying that you don't have to use the words, I don't know, is because there's a time we had a webinar during the height of COVID. And the presenter was a South African, and he was asked a question and he said, I don't know. And that was the end of the conversation. He just said, I don't know. Another way you can answer the question. So some people can use it, again, self-awareness. If it works for you and you say, I don't know, make sure if you're saying, I don't know, end your question, end your state, end your question, end your thing. Let's put it like this. I don't know. Keep quiet after that. Don't start explaining why you don't know. Just keep quiet. If you're going to say that I don't know, make sure you keep quiet after that. Like the South African I was telling you, when he said I don't know, he was quiet. And so we were able to move on. Because if you don't know, you don't know. The other way you can the other way you can handle that question, and this is the one I like, is that if it's not in your scope. If you don't know, it's because it's not in your scope. Yeah. So you can say that that is outside of your scope. And let me tell you, it's the best one I love the most. It's outside of your scope. And don't forget, things are always changing. So if it's not in your scope, say it's not in your scope. But you can also say, this is another one that people say, there is a lot of additional or new information in that field, and I would love for you to give me some time to get back to you with the latest trends in that industry. Again, nobody can fault you for that, because we saw what COVID did. There was like a new solution for something every other day. So there was nobody who could have said they were an expert during COVID. Because today you can be the expert and then somebody finds a solution to something the very next day. Yeah. So COVID taught us you can be an expert today and tomorrow you don't know. Yeah.
But another one that I also use, maybe a tip that I can share. The other one I also use when I'm not too sure about the answer, I throw it back to the audience.
Yes, that's a strategy.
I ask them to chime in. Yeah. And then they'll end up having a very, very good discussion that has no conclusion.
I love that one. And I used it again at a Rotary Club that was full of such important people in this country. I threw it back at the audience, and the person who had asked me that question, it was a really tough question. Even the audience, participated, but you could tell that it was a really hard nut to crack. CEOs were telling me, anyway, that one is hard, I don't know. But the fact that I threw it back at the audience really made for some nice and engaging conversations, and people really bought books that day. So it's an excellent strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also use Google as well. I tell people this is a dot learning. Can we Google what that means? And then we find the answers there and the whole class is happy. These are just tips to survive. AK, I've seen a number of your questions. I think you can probably refresh on the recording, because we are going to upload the recording on our YouTube channel, and you can pick some of the answers to the questions that you're asking. Kevin, do you have anything before we allow Doris Mutuku to speak?
No, from Facebook, I believe we've answered all the questions. Back to you, Grace.
Okay, thank you very much. And allow me to remind you, this webinar series is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Profiles International, as well as the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Body, HRMPEB. If you seek to do your CHRP, please get in touch with me and I'll be able to guide you further. Now, Esther Kangada is saying, how about if a hot issue has arose while you're giving your talk? How do you handle it? I don't know what hot is. How do you raise your voice if you're soft-spoken? Esther Kangada, maybe you can clarify on your question. But yeah, how do you raise your voice if you're soft-spoken, Joyce?
Yeah, I'll answer that one. And then as the other lady, clarifies on that. One of the ways in which you can raise your voice, and we do it in Vocal Impact, is that if you speak a little bit slower than you normally speak, then you're able to project further, as opposed to that, especially soft-spoken people. You have to really, do a lot of practice, and imagine a staircase. So if I'm at level 1 and people can't hear, just imagine yourself climbing that next step, that next step, that next step. That is one of the ways in which you can raise your voice. But as you do that, also remember to don't speak fast if you want to have high vocal impact. Yeah.
Yeah, don't become Grace. Grace can rap, she can talk, and she can do all those things. Please stick to your lane. Anyway, and Nelson is saying our ED has never raised her voice, but she still commands. That's true. I think you just see which strengths you have. Doris Mutuku, you wanted to say something? Doris Mutuku? Okay, she had
I'm so sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize that my hand was up. I'm on the road. Sorry for that interruption, but I can say that I'm really enjoying this conversation. And I think it is so insightful, very, very insightful. It's just very timely. Thank you. I didn't realize my hand was up. I'm on the road. Thank you.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So we have a few more minutes and then we can call it a day. I'm trying to see, is it right? Oh yeah, you said about this. Is it right to record yourself while giving a public speech and review how it was later?
That is one of the most effective strategies to become a better public speaker.
Yeah, and then probably there's another question on how do you become a better storyteller? How do you know which story to put where?
That is emotional intelligence 101.
Yes.
There's a lady I'm seeing saying, please answer me, Esther Kanyada. Maybe we can find out what question she had asked.
She had asked, that's why I said to confirm.
How about if a hot issue? Right. So yeah, I think the one for the hot issue, the one we already answered that when we said when you throw it back to the audience, and it makes up for some really nice, charged conversations and all, then I find that it keeps the audience engaged. And I saw it at work. I saw it work very well that day. So yeah, I would handle it like that. You throw it back to the audience. As long as it is relevant to why you stood in front of people. Yeah, if it is relevant and it is aligned to why you spoke, you can do that. But if it is not aligned, do not get carried away.
Okay. Ati, what if you hate your voice? You got to love it.
I saw that, and I'm telling you, there is no way you can grow and develop yourself if you don't like something about yourself. You first have to go back and ask yourself, first of all, why do you not like your voice? Then you start working towards getting to love it. If you don't, nobody else will love it, by the way. Yeah, so you have to be very intentional about your growth. Yeah, wake up every morning and record yourself on the phone until one day you discover, you know what, I don't hate my voice that much after all. Yeah.
Grace K, I don't get the question you're asking. If you can copy paste it, I will be appreciative. She's saying, please respond to the question above on content versus presentation. I don't know which one, because we have answered quite a number of those. Please repeat the question and maybe we can look at it. Somebody is asking for a YouTube channel. Kevin, maybe you can, or Jacinta, you guys can type it on the chat. Before we come to you, Lea Kinya, Aden, how can you overcome fear of public speaking when you're nervous and lost what you wanted to say? When you lost what you wanted to say, what do you do? Sorry.
I'm telling you, that person just has to take the class. That is very serious, because I can even tell you where the problem is, but you have to take the class. That one I can't help you any other way. Take a class, be committed to go the journey from the beginning to the end. And you don't have to take a class with people. You can take a private class. I've done it before. Some CEOs and chairmen of companies don't want to be in a class. They want to learn privately. And millennial CEOs learn on Zoom. So pick the one you like, but make it work for you. Learn privately. And the thing about us is that we don't go telling people, oh, so-and-so signed up for our course. No, we don't do that. We don't do that at all.
Okay. So there's also the question on BDD, body dysmorphic disorder. As you ponder on that, Lea Kinya, tell us. Lea Kinya?
Hello, Joyce.
Hi.
Yes, hello, Joyce. You said you train on public speaking, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have an academy, or where can one enroll?
Right.
To get maybe a certification.
Okay. So to answer your question, I'm going to put the answer in the chat. It's called Bounce Back Academy, and you can either train as a group, or you can train, or you can train. I'm typing as I talk, by the way, or you can train in person in your own, boardroom, for example. But basically, you have those two options, and I've typed the answer in the chat in case someone wants to sign up. And then I'm also going to put my handle there for Facebook, so that in case you want to speak with me further, you can look for me on Facebook. Yeah, there. And that also goes to the person who asked about publishing. You can chat me on Facebook. The course of training depends really. There are 3 ways you can learn. You can learn in person, you can learn one-to-one, like, you show up in person. You can learn the hybrid way, which means sometimes you want to do the Zoom class, or you want sometimes to, depending on the topic. And then there's the one which, like I told you, millennial CEOs, I don't see them. In fact, one time I bumped into someone who had trained, and we actually recognized each other, just the face. And she trained from the beginning to the end on Zoom, because that's what works for her. So find out which one of the 3 you're happy with. And like I said from the beginning, know thyself, know what works for you. And then let's engage on Facebook at Joyce Gikunju. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, if you can post our link to the YouTube channel where we will upload the recordings, and also you can catch up on anything you may have missed if you're joining Atara Solutions for the first time. Yes, we will do the recording. Is cramming okay when doing public speaking?
So as a rule, the first sentence and the last sentence, you should know them offhand for sure. Why? Because when you're starting a conversation, you should be making eye contact with your audience. That is how you engage your audience. You cannot be looking anywhere else when you're starting a conversation. Otherwise, you disengage the audience and they will start looking at their phones. And you do not want that. You do not want to find your audience disengaged, especially in the first 3 minutes. Yeah. So cram the first line and the last line.
So comment on the BDD.
So I need to know what that is. If the person can just
somebody said
give us more information.
Grace ulisema ni nini? Dry mouth manenos. Is that one? Dysmorphic. I don't know whether it is, but Stella Njue, please tell us what it is.
He said it's a body dysmorphic disorder.
Yeah, what is that?
Maybe if she can expound on it, Stella Njue.
I'm seeing
I've actually Googled it. It's being extremely preoccupied with a perceived flaw in appearance that others can't be seen or appears minor. A strong belief that you have a defect in your appearance that makes you ugly or deformed. Belief that others take special notice of your appearance in a negative way or mock you.
Yeah, so I think there's a time I said that most of the time when you're standing in front of people, they're actually on your side. They're not against you. So you really do need to do a lot of what I call internal work, especially before you walk in front of people. And why I say this is because in one of my blogs, I say that if you're standing in front of people, it's because you're a leader. You're a leader in a certain area. If you're not yet ready, don't go in front of people yet. Work on yourself first before you take the stage, because what people don't realize is that the moment you go on stage, it's a next level conversation. And that's why you see some people declining. There are some positions in companies which require a lot of you to be in front of people. Again, leadership. So you first have to learn to lead yourself before you go and stand in front of people. Yeah. So the person really needs to just do that, what I call internal work. You work on yourself before you go in and start influencing and impacting other people, around the world. Yeah, that is so important, and that is so key.
But for Esther Kangede, how about controlling various characters in the audience? E.g., one who's a clown, another a noisemaker, another one a know-it-all, another who is very quiet. How do you manage the room?
Yeah, I think that question is also a good one. It depends on the intensity of what it is you're doing. If these people are not distracting you, there's a point that you come to where you just have to ignore them, especially if they're not interfering with your conversation. Yeah.
And maybe I can also share some tips. Normally when I see noisemakers, I just call their name and continue. Like you just mentioned Joyce, and continue with the conversation as if you did not call them. Normally you catch their attention. Then sometimes you also ask everyone to stand and you do an energizer, or you just tell them, tell your neighbor this, and then the neighbor will actually tell them and disrupt whatever it is that was happening. Those are some of the things that you can actually use to make sure that you're engaging them. And then the quiet ones, sometimes ask a friendly question, ask them to remind you what you learned in the morning, or ask, just so that you can gauge whether they are there, and ask people to paraphrase, as in try to engage all of them so that you can have one class. Sometimes anyway, we are I MC a lot, so I have to make sure that people are with me. I'm encouraged by Kiraito Murungi, Harvard alumni, Meru accent, leader, content is most important, confidence second, practice makes perfect. That is very, 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 very true. All right. Now, Joyce, you can probably, just before I let you give us something else, please, HR professionals in Mombasa and its environs, or even in Nairobi, and you just feel like taking a trip to Mombasa. We are going to Mombasa on 24th of this month. Next week on Friday, we have a tea. Actually, we are just going to Mombasa for coffee. Hey. This is organized by HR Hub. If you belong to HR Hub WhatsApp group, you know what we mean. There's HR Coffee, which is happening in Mombasa. This is the Coast Eastern edition. It's organized by HR Hub in partnership with IHRM, Eastern and Coast Branch, Atara Solutions, Paragon, and CHRM as well. So please do not say that Mombasa Munanga Vitu. We are coming on 24th, Friday next week. We shall be at the University of Nairobi for HR Coffee. Please come out, many of you, let's network, let's engage, and it's only going for 750 shillings. 750 shillings only. So please reach out to us for more details, or you can check for how to pay. We shall share this on our WhatsApp groups. Please see you on Friday if you're in Mombasa or in the environments, or you're Nairobian and you will be in Mombasa, or you just want to travel. Like myself, Nelson, and Anne Bahati, we are going to travel, and Jairus, we will be there to support the Mombasa team. And of course, I've talked about the partners that we have for that conversation. And of course, if you're looking to do your CHRP, please get in touch with me. I am currently the ambassador for HRMPEB, so please do not get stuck. I have information for you that will help you make your process easier. Right, Joyce, if you may, kindly add me to the HR Hub WhatsApp group. Brenda Otieno, please WhatsApp me. I don't know whether you have my number. Please WhatsApp me and I will do that. Joyce, give us your parting shot.
Okay. Let me end this conversation tonight with something that I'll never finish saying. Personal development, public speaking is considered personal development, and that is why you will hardly ever go to a company that trains you on public speaking. Yet it can affect your life at work. If you're not an excellent public speaker, you're passed over for promotions. People don't take you seriously. So it's up to you to make that decision. I want to grow. And so reach out for yourself and you will see the difference. And I gave you a very encouraging story of a lady. It just took 4 weeks, but her life changed from there. And she's one of my biggest ambassadors. So don't wait for your boss to bring you a letter straight to you and tell you, this is sitting on my desk until you don't have to do that. Make sure that you keep growing yourself so that you don't get left behind. Thank you, Grace.
All right. Thank you very much, Joyce. We have appreciated your presence. Thank you very much, because we wouldn't do this without you. And I just got an idea. We will bring on a conversation with Toastmasters, like 3. We just have a panel discussion on public speaking. I know, Syria, you will be one of them, because I know you're one of those public speakers I admire a lot. So that we can have a conversation around this one on public speaking. Now, yes, please, you can join Toastmasters tomorrow or the day after, but also please sign up for Bounce Back Academy, where Joyce will walk with you on the journey to becoming a better public speaker. And also Atara Solutions is launching the public speaking class, so don't worry, we got you on this one. Now, yes, what did I want to say? Our audience, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your Tuesday evenings with us. Please join our WhatsApp group. Kevin, I don't know whether we have that. Irene or Kevin or Jacinta, please share the link to join our WhatsApp group when you can get informed on what's coming up. Next Tuesday, we are discussing sexual harassment in the workplace, and we have an awesome panelist. We have a lawyer and a HR practitioner, and we're just going to engage on sexual harassment in the workplace, and that will be very, very interesting in light of what has been happening around us in the last couple of this is actually something that happens, but we need to also engage in this. So next Tuesday, keep it here. We will be discussing sexual harassment. Irene has shared our WhatsApp group for those who are asking. I hope you can see it. I hope you guys are sharing Get It Right with Atara solution, Get It Right with Atara, because 2.0 is full, but there you go. Right, so Company Limited, Pathway Solutions, Profiles International, Weeklin, HRM PEB, Suluhu Mediation Center, Institute of Pension Management, Kapula Mintito, Purpose, and Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited is in Kampala. Thank you so much, Herbert Zake. You are an awesome, awesome person. So we shall continue with this conversation, but next week we are going to be discussing sexual harassment. Please do. Kevin, do you have something for us?
No. From Facebook, all has been answered, and I believe at this time we just have to thank Atara Solution for at least keeping us on the loop and making us all inclusive through Catherine Sidandi, and also helping us, all of us, be informed on the current trends as far as HR matters and any other matters as far as admin is concerned, to help us at least understand how our work environments operates. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you very much. And I am very, very excited about this. Any season 4, we are not going down. We are up and up, my friends. Hey, you cannot afford to miss an Atara Solution. You can't. Your Tuesdays, please mark your calendars. Even if you do not know the topic, just put a reminder and then WhatsApp me or check in the group, and you'll see what we are discussing on that particular Tuesday. Because this time around, we have decided we must make sure that we are changing. We are on a mission to change the world through information. So Oppo HR Hub, okay, Nelson, I hope you're here, or Ann Bahati, I hope you're here, and you're collecting the people who want to join HR Hub on the chat. Please add them, and then we shall see most of you who are in Mombasa next Friday. But in the meantime, please see you next Tuesday as we discuss sexual harassment. After sexual harassment, we are hosting Madam Sarah Karingi about networking. She's the queen of networking. She has written books about networking. And then after that, we have quite, oh my God, keep it here. You will see it. So thank you very much, Kevin, and the entire team at Atara Solutions. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for being great support and believing in this dream. Catherine Sidandi, you are an awesome person. By the way, Catherine is looking for a job. If you're here and you are looking for a sign language interpreter, please make sure that you hire Catherine Sidandi. She's wonderful. She's just wonderful. You guys have no idea. Somebody is saying link not loading. Kevin, you need to share the Get It Right with the Atara Solutions. 2.0 is full. Everyone who is, I hope, hey, okay. So we are sharing the link to the WhatsApp group. Please stay here. I don't know whether Nelson is able to give me the link to HR Hub 2, because I know one is full. Okay, so Nelson, let me just ask Nelson. Or is it Lillian? Somebody from HR, the admins on HR Hub, please send me the link and then I'll share it out. Or you can send it on the chat. Right, I have requested. I hope they can send it now. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying with us. We appreciate you. We are grateful. We shall see you next Tuesday, same time, same place, as we look at sexual harassment in the workplace. Thank you very much, Richard. You are awesome. Please, everyone who is asking me for the link to HR Hub, Richard has shared. Thank you very much for saving the day. Yes, I do a lot of arms and ums. I even accepted. I am a Toastmaster, but that one, me and I, that's where we draw the line. So yes, but it shows you that I think on the go. So yeah, probably I do this for too many times. But yes, thank you very much for joining us. And Kevin, you can play music. Have a lovely night and see you next Tuesday.